Top 10 Insane Military Training Exercises. It is a given that most of the top militaries in the world would have ridiculous training exercises that would seem for a regular person to be something beyond our comprehension. And anyone who has been part of a military force around the world knows that there is no easy day of training. You are being prepared to endure some of the harshest and most inhumane conditions a person can go through. So it is only fair that your commanding officer will put you through exercises that will get you ready to face any adversity you might come up against. These are some of the most insane military training exercises you will ever see from around the world. But in order to pay tribute to what these men and women have to go through, we've put together a little list of our own. Warning, this video could very well turn your stomach upside down. Number 10. The Taiwanese Crawl. Many people think that psychological warfare that soldiers have to go through in every single military around the world has to be the worst part of training. But in many places, that could indeed be the side of training that takes the heaviest toll on a soldier. So why not start with one of the most painful training exercises? An excellent example of that physical toll can be found in Taiwan. There, they have a little exercise called the Road to Heaven. Sounds nice, right? Unfortunately, the name does not fit the exercise. Instead of a calm road to heaven, Taiwanese soldiers have to crawl 50 meters through a path filled with corals and rocks. Oh yes, and it seems that they have to do it without using their hands. Number 9. Circus antics. A lot of the training exercises we approach on this list are terrifying and brutal. But there is one particular training regimen that, although it might have had a few Chinese soldiers soil themselves, could also end up being one of the most entertaining exercises for the adrenaline junkies who decide to join the Chinese army. We are talking about an activity in which Chinese soldiers are forced to jump through rings of fire. Yes, this is not a circus performance. It is an actual military training exercise, and one that makes a lot of sense after you watch one or two war movies. In any battle fought ever since people started using gunpowder, there has been a presence of fire and things burning all around the battleground. So it is not surprising that an army commander would want the majority of the soldiers to not be afraid of trekking through a field in those conditions. It is still scary as hell though. Number 8. A classic. Once you put on the uniform, you can completely forget about the life you had before. In the military, doing something wrong can get somebody killed. That in turn means that officers have to instill the mindset that those soldiers cannot make mistakes under whatever circumstances. The Iraqi military is a classic, but a perfect example to explain how training officers must often instill this mindset into their soldiers. During a physical training exercise in which a soldier has to stay in the chair position, he has an extra motivation not to mess up, because if he does screw up the chair, he's going to get smashed with the butt of an AK-47. Number 7. Balance the banana. There are a lot of gruesome and physically painful exercises on this list, so we thought it would be a good idea to give you a funny one to lighten the mood for the storm still to come. In the Philippines, the army is not just about learning how to fight or survive in the jungle, it is also about balance and posture. At least, that's what we assume the Philippine officers had in mind when they created this exercise. Seeming more like a game middle schoolers would enjoy, these Philippine soldiers have to balance a banana on top of their heads while they're eating lunch. Taking a closer look at it, it does seem like something that would require a good deal of balance and psychological fortitude. Just grab a banana and put it on top of your head, then try to watch the rest of this list without getting distracted and letting it fall. Oh yeah, if you let it fall, you have to do the same as the Philippine soldiers. Eat the banana, the peel too. Number 6. Sniper training. Out of all the positions in an army, sniper training has to be the easiest of them all, right? After all, these are the guys who stay mostly away from the action, taking one shot at a time while hidden from the enemy forces. If you are one of those unfortunate souls who believe something like this, we have to tell you that you couldn't be more wrong. While it might seem like snipers are not in the thick of the action as other infantry troops, that assertion is not true. If one enemy spots you, you are as good as gone. That is exactly why sniper training involves some of the most insane practices in the world. Staying in camouflage is a vital part of a sniper's job. It is so vital that the United States Marine Scout snipers have to wear their ghillie suits and bathe themselves in a pool of rotting vegetation and stagnant water. Yeah, it does not smell or feel nice. But the worst part is that they repeat the process and also have to perform other exercises in those stinky suits for almost a month. Number 5. Real-life Mission Impossible. Terrorism is a common problem in Israel, and as it is necessary, the personnel of the Israeli Defense Forces have to prepare for any kind of terrorist plot or attack. The Israeli Defense Forces actually have their soldiers doing similar stunts as Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible movies. Soldiers are trained to rappel down from the roof of a Tel Aviv skyscraper and perform a mock rescue of people being held hostage by terrorists. Does that sound nice? It better, because it is what actually happens. Number 4. Daredevil Training. We already know that they are capable of breaking bricks with their heads, but how well can the Chinese military officers control their temper in, let's say, daring situations? Our bet is that they can do it better than anyone else. If you consider the training these guys have to go through, it's not tough to guess that they would be able to stay calm and collected in the dirtiest of situations amid a war zone. That picture depicts one of the exercises used by the Chinese military to relieve anxiety. Yes, you heard it correctly. To relieve anxiety. Please don't try this at home, or you will probably fall flat on your face on the floor, and your friend, who was supposed to be holding you by the ankles, will just laugh at you. But while you should not do it, you should try to imagine what it would be like to spend an hour in a position where you have to stand still while one slight lack of concentration from a comrade could result in you breaking your neck. Number 3. Survive. Imagine you just joined the United States Navy. What's the first thing that could happen at the sea that terrifies you the most about being a Navy man or woman? We asked you what the worst thing that could happen if a ship hit an iceberg and sank off the coast of North America. What do you think it would be like to be stuck on a sinking ship with a woman who did not love you enough to share a door to keep you alive? But all that Titanic talk is beside the point. Actually, not all of it. Just the part about Kate or Rose letting Leonardo or Jack die. The other part is true because apparently Navy recruits have to survive a period of 12 hours inside of a sinking ship. Of course, it is a simulation, but by the way people talk about it, that simulation is one of the most terrifying experiences a soldier can go through. Number 2. SEAL Training. It is no mystery to anyone that Navy SEALs are some of the most badass soldiers in the world. These are the guys the United States military throws in the line of fire when things of the utmost value are at stake. Hence, these special soldiers have to go through a ridiculous amount of training. But out of all the insane exercises the Navy SEALs have to go through, perhaps the most terrifying is something they have to go through during the basic conditioning part of their training. Yes, keep in mind that this is basic conditioning to be a Navy SEAL. What we're talking about is a training regimen devoted to drown-proofing the soon-to-be SEALs. If the mere name of the exercise was not enough to terrify you, here is what it consists of. Bob for 5 minutes, float for 5 minutes, swim for 100 meters, bob for 2 minutes, do some forward and backward flips, swim to the bottom of the pool and retrieve an object with your teeth, return to the surface, and bob for 5 more minutes. They have to do all of that with their hands and feet tied. Number 1. Hot potato. By now, you probably have come to the conclusion that in order to become a part of one of the top militaries in the world, an aspiring soldier needs, for lack of a better expression, a large set of balls. And in case you are one of the few who have not come to that conclusion yet, or even disagree with it, we asked the Chinese military to prove you wrong. This is something most of us probably have seen at some point in a movie or read in a fiction novel, but apparently, members of the Chinese military actually have to go through training in which they play hot potato with a live grenade. Yes, someone had the bright idea of making these servicemen pass around a live grenade until one of them reckons it's about time for the thing to explode and throws it inside a hole. We can hardly imagine a training exercise that would be more dangerous than this hot potato game. Okay guys, there you have it. You now have a clear understanding of what it takes to serve in the military. What are your current thoughts? Please leave your opinion in the comment section, and like and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful material. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our future video.